All of the above. Former FDA Associate Commissioner Peter Pitts. He's joining us now from New York City. Peter, thanks for joining us. What is your take on how this has been handled by the administration?
Well, there have been some good things and there have been some bad things. You know, on the bad side, it took a whistleblower's report months to reach the appropriate people inside the FDA. What began in February could have begun much earlier. Earlier, we'd be through this problem already. When the FDA closed this plant down, and it had to be closed down. The ethical lapses by Abbott Manufacturing was astounding. So the FDA did the right thing, but then they communicated it to Secretary Becerra at Health and Human Services. But it seems that nobody told the White House until April. So the president, even early last week, was still saying that nobody could have foreseen shortages, which is exactly the opposite of what FDA Commissioner Rob Califf told Congress at 3 hearings last week. So I think there's a bit of a disconnect inside the administration as to the best path forward, and that does not instill confidence in American parents.
Peter, correct me if I'm wrong. The industry that is regulated by the FDA partially pays for operating the FDA. Is that correct? And is there a conflict of interest, so maybe they're not doing a good job?
Well, there's no place for these companies to go other than the FDA. There's no American Drug Administration. They all have to go through the FDA, and the fees that they pay don't get given back if they don't get what they want. So there's no conflict there. The problem is that the FDA doesn't have enough authority to demand data, to march in and do surprise inspections, and that's got to change. The way to keep these people, these manufacturers, on their toes is to make sure they are in fear of the FDA walking in at any moment. Otherwise, they get lax, and this is the result that we kind of see.
So, which I guess is what I'm asking is, do they fear the FDA walking in?
Well, they do now. I mean, Abbott had to sign a consent decree, and the Commissioner Califf was a little bit cagey about what might come next. But I certainly hope that Abbott pays a $1 billion fine and that people lose their jobs at that company. The ethical lapses, the lack of integrity, absolutely shocking. And the only reason that happened was because they didn't fear the FDA enough.
Now, there were some sicknesses and deaths from babies from the formula many months ago. And obviously, you don't want that out there. So you need to control that. But it seems like the process that it has taken to fix that has been abnormally long, because you don't want bad baby formula, but shouldn't it be fixed quicker than this? How do we get that fixed quicker in the future?
Well, unfortunately, these types of things aren't like television or the movies. Between one commercial break and the next, the problem is solved. When the FDA finally closed this plant down in February, they were on the ground 24/7 working with the company to remediate these problems, and it actually didn't take too long. It happened quicker than it generally does. These are complicated procedures. These are large facilities. The FDA had to make sure the people they were dealing with at the plant were honest and willing to make changes. But at the end of the day, what the FDA and what the administration didn't do was reach out aggressively enough to pediatricians who were upset, to parents who are certainly upset. And I think one of the lessons learned from COVID-19 is that when you're honest with the American public, when you tell them the truth and you're transparent, even if the news isn't good, they trust you and they appreciate the information. And the unfortunate truth is, right now, people's faith in the FDA and in the White House are falling, and that's not a good thing.
How long before we're back to normal, you think?
The plant opens up, I believe, the middle of next week. It'll take about a month to get back to normal. So I would say a month before the shortages are completely over. So some tough times yet to come for American parents.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe this is America and we're going through this. My kids are through that phase, but I can't imagine not having baby formula. That's such a difficult situation for parents. Thank you so much for joining us, Peter.
My pleasure. Thank you.